child, that your skin can bring you so much pain. Now I hear you say, you got the best of both ways. Won't you come and take a walk in my shoes and tell me if you take my place? Undercover of my skin, I've heard all your names. If it's all the same, I'll keep on walking. Undercover of my skin.
Welcome to episode number 269 of the Inside Running Podcast. Thank you for joining us for another week. Busy time of the year. We're recording this on 7 p.m. on Boxing Day, so no public holiday for us to bring this show to you this week. We do appreciate that you're tuning into it. Big show coming at you. Small on running news, as would be expected this time of the year, but big on yearly reflections. We got our 2022 Inside Running Podcast Award Show. So we're going to be discussing, just getting in heated discussions off air, and I told the boys to be quiet so we can get started and talk about that when it actually comes up. Welcome to my co-host, Bradley Croker, up in Canberra. Happy Christmas, Merry Christmas. What's been going on, Bradley, up your way?
Yes, it's been a hectic couple of days. We hosted Christmas this year, so I had Mum and Dad and my brothers and their families over, so and Viv's parents. So yesterday was pretty busy, but everything's sort of back to normal now, and I can go back to enjoying my holidays.
That's good. The other co-host, I'm not sure if he enjoys this time of the year or he doesn't. Surely it's good for retail, but maybe bad for human interactions. Julian Spence, welcome to you down in Anglesea tonight. What's going on? Merry Christmas.
Yeah, it's getting better with a baby for sure. It's a little bit more about them, obviously, and so I can get excited when she gets excited. Not that she knows why she's excited, but the attention's on her. So that's nice to see her happy.
Question, Moose. Do you think Christmas Day is overrated though?
For sure. Yeah, I think I've always Christmas Day is funny because you're getting a collection of people that you wouldn't necessarily choose to sit down and have wine and beer and a meal with, but you're kind of forced to because it's your family. And so it's always strange where you pick the most important day of the year and you're like, well, you're going to sit next to this cousin who's into hunting deer and making sausages, and you're going to have beers with him. And you're not going to be able to get away from him for the next 2.5 hours.
Is that a true story from you 24 hours ago?
No, it's okay. Not. But it's an example.
Let's hope they don't listen.
I'm not using personal examples here, but that's an example for me of like why I find it strange that about Christmas Day, and I guess as we get older, we can just let the kids do their thing, and I just watch them all go.
Yeah. I agree, Moose. I think it definitely is polarising because if you see any of the media in the lead up, there's always the two. It's like, it's the best time of year because family can get together, which for some people, they hate that. And then the flip side is how to survive Christmas with the in-laws and, the extended family. So it's very polarising, I reckon, Christmas.
Carly was telling me about an article she read, and it's just like, rule 1, don't bring up politics, the COVID vaccine, or like something else. And I'm like, that's really funny.
So two like examples of a family getting divided, dogs. Like, can I bring my dog to family Christmas? No, you can't. And like that was a pretty common theme amongst two people that I spoke to today, and the person that wasn't allowed to bring their dog getting upset wasn't me that got upset, but just how quickly things can spiral out of control.
Yeah, right. I've never heard that ever, and you had two people telling you about it.
Yes, but I reckon I find Christmas a hard time of year because I feel like I'm compromising my integrity a bit because I'm not religious. In fact, I almost despise religion. Yet all of a sudden I'm kind of celebrating something that's religious. It's a religious holiday. Yet I don't identify as a Christian or a Catholic or whatever. So it's odd to me. It's odd. I find it hard to say, Merry Christmas and all this, and it just feels a bit wrong. It leaves me a little sour. I feel like I'm just compromising my values a little bit.
But how many people do you think are out there that actually forget that it is religion based? Because these days it's all about Santa and stuff like that, and it's sort of which takes a bit more of the religion out of it.
Yeah. Oh, it's gone away from it, but at the root of it, that's what it is. And we get a good reminder down here because living on the coast, Christmas Day is the day that a lot of the Sikhs and Hindus and Muslims, and I don't think we get a lot of Buddhists come down, but even some Jewish community all leave Melbourne and head on day trips down the coast because every business is shut. So they basically have nothing to do. They can't get meals. Or they would be sitting at home anyway. So they all come down the coast and hang out basically out the front of my house on the river. And I'm thinking, yeah, this is actually pretty, I don't really feel, I probably feel the same way about Christmas as they do. Really not believing in it or feeling like they should be celebrating it. Yet we do. Why do we do it? Because we've always done it. And why have we always done it? Because our parents always did it. And at some point there was someone who was religious in your family who's like, yeah, this is what we do.
All right, we're moving on, boys. Good start, but we've got a lot to get through. And I'm just opening up your Strava moves because you had a big training week and a big week on the social media. We'll get to a few of the places where you popped up during the week. I'm looking forward to unpacking a few of these things. But take us to the running stuff first. Monday.
Oh, I haven't seen the social stuff, but maybe you'll have to let me know.
Yeah, well, I think you have seen most of the social stuff, but yeah,
really?
I'll let you know as we go. Yeah, I've got a few things to bring up with you. Come across my desk.
Right.
5, actually. I've got 5 things written down in front of me here to ask you about. Yeah.
Okay. Monday, I woke up sore from my long run. So I did 28 the day before, hilly 28, fast 28. So I was pretty sore, and 50 minutes was kind of tough. I was also really tired. It had beaten me up in a few ways, that long run. I only went 50 minutes when I think I was aiming to go a little longer, but I just didn't feel it. Felt like I kind of should pull back for that one because tight turnaround to a track session on Tuesday morning where we all meet at Deakin, so 6 a.m. kick-off for the warm-up. We had a group, I reckon it was 16 of us at this track session, so it was really good. This is where I knew I fully hadn't recovered from the Sunday long run because on the long run I tried not to be too negative, but geez, I felt shit. I felt beat up. I was still kind of sore and I was tired, just fatigued, real heavy legs. I thought, okay, well, I'll get through this workout and then I've got Wednesday, Thursday to recover before a light workout on Friday. So we did a time trial. Well, one of the guys was doing his 2K footy time trial, and we decided to help him out. So the workout was going to be 2K at around 3-minute pace, and then 6 by a K with, I think we were having 60 seconds rest. Was 60 or 90? Yeah, 60 seconds rest. So the 2K went out. I was the one leading the first rep. I went a bit slow, so I started at 75. So I was 3 seconds off, and then it just sort of progressed from there. Went through in 3:05, and then kicked down. By the time we got to 1,800 meters, I was pretty stuffed from this rep, because we did it progressively and not even. I reckon the last 2 laps were something like 68. I'm not sure if we went quicker than 68, but maybe we did go quicker than 68. So I was pretty cooked. So I let Jordan finish it. He ended up running really fast. He ran 2:52 for his 2K, which would be a lot. 5:52. Oh, sorry, 5:52. Yeah, it would be a lot better than any AFL club out there. And he's like quality football and a big dude. So it was good by him. And then we were supposed to jog 400 recovery, so that was going to set us up for the workout. But because the other guys bailed out at a mile, instead of jogging or doing the last lap of the time trial, they basically took off straight away after a minute. And so I was pretty fucked still. And so I was off the back of that group. I ran 3:09 and I was in some strife. I thought, I'm not going to be able to finish this workout. This was really difficult. And I was in a hole at that point. I thought, oh, you've cooked yourself here. But the longer it went on, I reckon the more I recovered from that first effort. And so I was just sort of in the middle of the pack each rep. I didn't lead any of the next 6. So we went 3:9, 3:5, 3:6, 3:8, 3:7, 3:2 to finish. Just sitting in the pack. And that was the beauty right there of having a group to train with. Because without that group, if I did that first rep, I don't think I'm finishing that workout. I reckon I'm bailing from that. So it was actually quite good to get it done on very tired legs. I didn't have any soreness in terms of injuries or niggles, but I was just so heavy.
Just need an extra 24 hours, you reckon?
Even another 8. Even
going
really?
to afternoon session.
Well, that would have worked better than the morning. It's a tight turnaround, 48 hours, even less, like 44 hours. So, yeah, it probably just got to be careful of that in the future. So the next day, like at that point, I thought, you got to get out of this hole. You got to slow your running right down, and maybe run a bit less than you were planning for the week. So I just did 10K, 4:56, so real slow. Same the next day, 10K, 4:44s, and then we did a workout on Friday. I ran, we had a bit of a group going. It was 40 minutes. It was broken up into 2 sets of 12 minutes running underneath threshold, about 5 to 10 beats, and then 8 minutes at threshold. So it was all a continuous run. It was kind of a yo-yo though, so 12 under at like marathon type intensity, and then 8 at threshold, more like half marathon, and then drop down to marathon pace and recover. That's what the guys had, and I just jumped in. Again, I do it with Ali, so it's not a strenuous workout for me. We had Hugh and Lockie with us running, and Matty Gunther was up the road a little bit, going a bit quicker. So this is not a fast place to run. Obviously, it's like dirt and potholes and a few hills. But again, just having a group, so good, really relaxing and sociable. Then we backed up for a long run the next day. I did 20K on the Saturday, 90-something minutes, and we slowed down because of the race on shoot that's coming up tomorrow night. We made sure this was gentle, so a little bit less hilly than normal and a little bit shorter. So 20K. Got some bad chafe. It's kind of scarred up now. And it looks like there's a seam that was in my jock liner because it's like a fully defined line right along the ball sack. Like it's not just like general chafe.
Detail.
It's like it's a cut. So I got to sort that out. Lululemon shorts. They were which ones were they? They were the
kind of grey colour one.
They were like they're not a half tight. They're the short. But they've got the liner in them.
Oh no, I haven't got those.
That you can put your phone in. They're a good short, but something went wrong on this. I've been using some like empty chafe, just trying to get the dregs out of my chafe, and I reckon I'm just rubbing it dry on there now. So, Christmas morning was Sunday. Ran with Bree, and Pia was in the pram, so it was bloody beautiful down here. Getting out in the morning and being able to run as a family, that was awesome. So I really liked that run. Probably one of the most enjoyable runs I've ever had. So the week total, I think it was about 93K. I think it was about that. So a good week, 2 workouts, a long run, and that was from coming back from nowhere really because I was in a hole.
And racing, this is a Roo run. You did this last year, didn't you? You got the win. Ben Ladbrook, you beat? Is that right? Last year?
Yeah.
Defending champ?
He was big. He was flying at that time too. He was one of the best in the country, I reckon.
What's the competition like this year then?
Don't know. You never know until you rock up at the Roo Run.
Oh, so no Gunther.
None of his athletes. None of it. He hasn't programmed it for any of his athletes.
Sure, it's just locals, isn't it?
They're going to head into Dawnbusters in a couple of days, fellas.
Toby Mende?
Dawnbusters.
I don't even know what Dawnbusters is. They talk about this time of the year every year, Croaks, and they're just these little races that they just love down there.
The Roo Run. There'll be some people that have trained all year for this Roo Run.
Okay.
We're going to see who's trained the hardest, I guess.
We will. Okay.
You can't. The Roo Run. You could have Olympians showing up. So
World
it's
champs
actually
reps.
Yeah. There's a bit of.
Is Ali
there's
doing
no pressure on me. Ali's doing it, so you got to.
There you go, Olympian rocking up and a world champs rep.
Yeah, it's a big time race down here. Now that they cancelled Bell's Bash,
did they?
Down the coast. Yeah, Bell's Bash gone
Permanently.
So, well, they decided to not do it this year.
That was the one that Andy smoked up Collis one year. Remember that?
No, that was Mount the Surf.
Oh, was it? I get confused.
Yeah, they're all similar.
Yeah.
Mount the Surf probably a longer history than Roo Run, a little bit more prestigious. But
Roo Run's only been going for like 3 years, hasn't it?
2016 maybe.
Okay.
What else is on this list of yours, Brady?
Yeah, I don't know about this list.
We've got 5 here. I just thought it was a rough week for you, like you're the keyboard king, but I felt like you maybe got taken down a few pegs this week. Start off, I think it was Matt Fox early in the week, the king of Sweat Elite, called you out on Strava, trying to get you into the wave to race him. You would have seen that one.
Yeah, oh, well, I did see it.
Just a bit of a jab 9 weeks out from the big showdown in Osaka.
It's not quite like that. I'm a bit past my prime. He seems to be all up and about.
He's confident. I like it.
Yeah, I'm just there to have fun.
So I saw that one. Saw that one, and I thought that was good from him. Then I saw. Then I woke up actually. Olivia's birthday. When was that? 23rd. Had a message off Leanne Pompiani's coach, Des. Not happy with some of your comments about her performance last week on the podcast. So I thought, well, that's another bit of a jab at Moose. So then I liked that one from Des. And then Nitter went you, didn't he? Not talking about the kids' race at Zatopek enough. So then Nitter's come in with a big haymaker. Like, you're copping it from all directions last week.
Nah, Nitter's fair point from Nitter. We didn't really cover that. We did talk about Cam. We just didn't give maybe second or third enough play. So sorry, fellas.
To be honest, I don't keep a lot of track on the juniors. Like, it's hard enough keeping your head around the seniors because there's that many performances to follow. But I saw their times. Like, they were quick times. Like, unbelievable for those age kids.
And we've seen a lot of juniors in the past run well, and where are they when they're 25? So
Yeah, you can't cover all the junior results because it just gets too big. And then, buddy, I'm checking Strava. I think it was the day before Christmas. And Croaks has known you've had a rough week because he gets exposure to all these messages as well. He comes right off the top rope, has a crack at you for doing your long run on a Saturday, how you were talking about Sunday long runs all week, and gets 98 comment likes, Moose. Did you see this? He absolutely smoked you.
Saturday was a very good day because there was a couple of things that Moose had said previously. One was about the long runs on a Sunday, but the gold for me was that Tempo Journal article.
Yeah. That's got its own segment talking about some of those quotes. We'll get to that.
He came out with, like, there's no one in our group wearing $300 splitties, and he's mentioned on the Saturday run that he's got this massive ball sack chafe, and I'm like, well, maybe you should get the 300 splitties to go with the $300 sunnies.
Poorly timed from me. Poorly timed. I didn't probably need to mention that. But Croaks, come on, mate. I changed the long run because I'm racing Tuesday.
And I wrote fair. I'm not
sure why you got so many likes.
He got 98 likes, and you tried to cut him down in the next one, and you got 8, and then his come in again, and his next one got 97. I don't know if anyone's ever got that many likes on Strava before, ever, Croaks. I'm going to email them and see if anyone's broken 100 before.
I liked a few of the other comments, like Brett Coleman, like karma, clearly for like the stuff that Moose has said about long runs, and also that nobody wears $300 shorts in his group.
Yeah.
No, I got stuck into Brett on the long run a lot. I gave him heaps of stick that day. But I thought that those comment likes were a bit stiff because...
Do you go through it and start taking names? Can you click on it and see who likes it?
I just started deleting comments after that. Anytime someone posted something that might get a few likes, I deleted it straight away. I'm like, too many people have seen Croaks' comment, so I'll leave that. But then there were some funny things come through. I'm like, nah, out of here. Out of here.
That run was your Christmas present to me, Moose. I got a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun out of that.
So can I address the Splitties comment or what?
Yeah, well, so the Tempo Journal article came out. They went down to the Surf Coast Track Club. New Balance decked us out. I think it did say at the top of the article that was promotion for the New Balance. Oh, what was the shoe?
It was.
New Balance More, something like that. And the big quote they led with was, "No one wears $300 splitties or takes selfies mid-run. Whinging and bitching is not tolerated." And then Croaks has got a picture of Moose posing for a photo. That's the thing I couldn't believe. He's bitching about people taking selfies mid-run and he's posing for a photo with a professional photographer.
Post-run, the photo was taken. So post-run, already, like, let's just squash that. A lot of people saying, oh, you had your photo taken mid-run. I was like, no, the end of the run. Okay, so that argument gone. Second one, I have not said anything bad about people wearing $300 splitties. I'm all for that. I love propping up running retail.
Why is it not accepted down there, though?
I didn't say that it wasn't accepted.
That's definitely what you were inferring.
I said no one does it. It's not part of our culture. It's fine to have it elsewhere. Like, okay, we run past another group going, oh yeah, there's $300 splitties. Then look, they got a selfie stick out. We don't cut them down. We say,
yes, you have. That's what that quote meant.
No.
I felt like you're implying that you're real blue collar.
Yeah, you're like, piss off if you're going to do that stuff in our group. That's what I got.
The question was asked, what's your group about? This is what our group's about. This isn't me going ahead and saying, oh, fuck all these other groups. They're wankers. They take photos. This is our group. This is our culture, our ethos. I don't mind people taking photos on run. That's their running world. They do them. We do us. I'm not trying to start any type of hostility here. That's not what this was.
The other thing I like about it, Brady, is that he's commenting on the $300 shorts when on this podcast, Moose has a segment about spending money and buying things
on ridiculous, expensive stuff. What about the Sunnies too? They have like little fake diamonds on the top, Moose. You know the girls back at uni back in like 2005 used to have like those sequences on their dresses. That's what it reminded me of.
Sequences?
Yeah, is that what they were? You know, those little Demontes, is that what they're called? They looked like, they definitely weren't real diamonds, but you know those little fake little diamonds?
I'm not sure what happened up at Chuka Way.
We don't have Bendigo, or Tro Bendigo. We don't have a uni in Chuka, but yeah. I swear that was in like 2006, 2007.
Look, I come off that. I said to the guys on the Sunday long run, I said, you are so lucky I made you look cool forever. You guys running next to me right now, you're going to look back in 20 years and go, fuck, Moose made us right there. Anytime I go to a start line, they're going to see the singlet and be like, whoa, this guy can fight next to me.
Well, what about
I'm staying out of this guy's way because he looks tough. I've heard he's a badass. Just let him do his thing over there.
Well, what about the quote about the start line in there? If you see their singlet on the start line, there's a good chance the athlete wearing it is going to be towards the front of the race. Whether it's Moose himself, Matt Gunther, or many others, there's a competitiveness to the group that only comes from years of hard work. Has anyone in that group won a race in 2022, Bruce?
Well, we got Big Toby. Did he win a AV race?
That was my next one. How come they didn't mention Toby, the bad boy?
No, they only mentioned the runners that were in the profile. I think our group is so big and so successful, you can't mention them all for a small
that was
my
article. Next thing. I'm like, where's the bad boy's name here? He's the king of the group and didn't get a mention.
This was a little article based on the run. It's a promo thing.
Okay.
It's promotional. This is Tempo Journal on a contract for New Balance.
It seemed like real Surf Coast Track Club, like what our ethos are though to me though, Croaks. Didn't you think that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I reckon. I thought
the bad boy had been cut or something when they didn't mention him. It's like him doing an article on Melbourne Track Club and leaving Stewie off there.
Yeah, well, if Stewie doesn't come to the run that they're taking the pics of, then can't help him.
Should do an individual article. Bad luck for the bad boy at Valencia.
Moose, you didn't invite him, did you, Moose? Because you would have stolen some of your thunder.
I got to pick the 6 people, and I picked 5 people that were at least 2 or 3 points less attractive than me. And so in that group, I look like just superstar, got the chest out, slight tan, hair's not great, to be honest. But yeah, no, I'm happy with that pick. Pierre's going to see that in 20 years. Just be think her dad was Trevor Hendy.
The group shot with your shirt off, that's good though. Like everyone else is wearing the New Balance one they've been given to wear on that run, and then you just haven't even bothered wearing it.
Well, it was a bit big. It was a bit droopy. And the shorts were a little long. So they've given us like some long, pretty baggy stuff. I like baggy casual gear, but my running gear, I need it tight.
What about Moose? One minute he's saying how good he looked in the photo. Next thing he's saying, yeah, the singlet was a bit too big and the shorts didn't fit me that well.
We'll link it in the show notes. We are moving on. I do feel he come prepared though, Croaks. I thought we might have cracked him a few times but straight batting everything straight out.
He's done well.
That Strava shit stirred me up. Yes,
it was a fun week for us, Brady. I enjoyed last week.
Stuff just kept coming in. Usually he's the one dishing it all out, but it was all coming his way.
You're lucky we were busy in the store and I didn't have much chance to get back at you.
Yeah. The 12 days of Christmas in the last week before Christmas it was.
Hey, Craigs, let's move on to you. What are you doing? Not a lot on Strava, 2 runs?
Not a lot.
Or was that the week before?
12.6k I did. So went out Monday. I did 25 minutes. I was doing the loop at Mulligan's and I didn't really have a firm plan as how far I was going to go. But I got to 25 minutes and like there was no pain, just some awareness again. I'm like, you know what, for my first sort of run back in like nearly a week, that's enough. And it pulled up really well. I didn't have any sort of pain after the run or the next morning. So I went out and joined the group on the Tuesday afternoon and just did the warm-up and then added an extra 10 minutes. It was pretty much the same as Monday, like no pain, just some like tightness and awareness. But then that night and the next day, it was just like niggle. I just knew it didn't feel right. And my goal, as I've said the last few weeks, is to start the year healthy. So I'm like, the last thing I want to do is just keep running a few days and then delay the healing process and then, this then extend into January. So I'm like, stuff it. I'll just, even though I could jog, I'm just going to take some extra time. So that was my week. Went and hit some golf balls on the Friday. The downside was, always liked going out for a run around sort of like Christmas Day or Christmas Eve or even Boxing Day, and not to have that sort of put me in a bit of a shittier mood. But I'm happy with the decision that I've made, and I reckon that I'll be able to jog like pain free and without any awareness later this week. So fingers crossed that come 1st of January I'll be all good.
That's good. Heading in the right direction. I will ask both you boys a couple of yearly review comments about your own running when we get to the end of our weeks. So I ran, I think maybe 4 or 5 times. Had those sore hips last Sunday, so I had Monday off. Ran for 25 minutes Tuesday, and they were still a bit sore, but much better. So the rest definitely did them the world of good. I then had Wednesday off because we had our work Christmas party, and I was struggling a bit with a hangover there. But then Thursday got out for 10k, 45 minutes at 4:30s, and I just put in my comments there. I could just sniff a bit of like normality. Like I didn't feel injured, kind of sore. I just felt a bit unfit. Like when things like just start clicking, you're covering the ground the right way. Like I felt like it definitely like turned a page, which then led to 35 minutes the next day. Then I did 60 minutes Christmas Eve at 4:32s. So that was like the longest run I've done in kind of like 2.5 weeks. And then on Christmas Day, I did 40 minutes. So that was good. So I've kind of, this week for me has been like a week of, this time last week I was like, stuff's still really sore. I don't feel like I'm over the marathon. Whereas now I'm injury free. I've kind of cleared that soreness, fatigue. And now I'm just like unfit and just got to string a couple of weeks together to build some fitness back up. So I did 46k. Might try and get like 80, 90 this week. It's been hot. It's like 40 degrees today, I think, in Echuca. So I'm getting a few heat gains as well. But yeah, happy to move into that next stage of post-marathon recovery. So not much to report, but feeling good.
You're not going to do any sort of like summer track racing or anything?
I don't think so. I haven't looked at the only thing that would maybe appeal to me would be like the Box Hill. When's that 5K on? Like if that was say like March, I'm a guy who doesn't have a lot of talent, so I really need 6 weeks of probably good mileage and training, and it's probably going to take me another 2 or 3 to build up to that. So I think I could run out of time.
Just what you said? What you're a guy that doesn't have a lot of talent?
Yeah, like I need Ks, I need mileage behind me to run well.
So you think people that run less have more talent? So you think people that can perform better off less mileage are more talented.
Yes.
What do you reckon about that, Croaks?
No, I don't agree. I think Brady's just talking himself down a bit.
Oh, look at a guy like Jack Raynor can do 120k weeks. Like, I could do 120k weeks and be lucky to break 15 minutes of 5k.
Well,
I need to do 150k weeks. Like, he's got an exceptional amount of talent.
I disagree, Brady. Because I've looked back at your Strava recently. You have run over 7,000 kilometres every single year since 2015.
Yeah, I did that maths the other day, Croaks.
So who knows how you run off low mileage? You might actually run really well off lower mileage because that is a lot of running.
Oh yeah.
Good thinking, Matt. Good thinking.
Year in, year out, like that's a huge amount.
Yeah, it is. It's like 20k a day for 8 years. I worked out the other day.
Yeah. So
for real.
Yeah, I've done I think 7,200 k's a year since 2015.
I've had 1 year ever in my life over 7,000.
And I still can't run a good marathon race.
You know what? You should do like a backdated charity run, and then you say
run across Australia. Started in
20k a day for 8 years, and that's going to blow a lot of these charity runners out of the water, mate.
Yeah, it could. We should map it, see how far I can get.
On that, Brady, it'd be really interesting now.
I did run well this year, Croaks, off that though. You know what I mean? Like I've had. Mate, because I've been telling people that, like when I ran my 10.5 marathon PB, I just hit that 10,000 hour rule. You know, how many years do you need to run? Like, did I run that 29:20 this year because of that 7 years, and now it's starting to pay off?
Well, maybe you should look at running like 130k a week for the first like 6 months of the year and see how it goes.
Yeah, but I actually think something like 130 and like being in the gym twice a week is probably better than 160.
Well, why not try it?
Yeah, I think, yeah. And then see how I go. I just know last time, like when I've tried to come back from breaks, it takes me a while to get moving. But I'll get a first-hand experience there in the next couple of weeks.
So just getting back to it, what about how Moosey said, I'm a guy that needs to run a lot to run well, and it's like, well, you don't know because you've run so much, for the last 7-8 years that you could actually run well off low mileage.
Before those 7 or 8 years, I wasn't running real well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but you hadn't been running long enough.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. 130 would be nice though, wouldn't it? That'd be easy to tick off. So yeah, Moose, to answer your question, I'm kind of looking at. I've got this kind of blueprint from last year. Like I got myself fit for, like run for the kids. I started running around, I reckon, in like March, April.
Oh yeah, how did you go there last year?
7th, ran 3:05k pace. You said it was a good run, remember?
Yeah, but 7th.
It was a deep field. Was it 7th or 6th? Archie and Nath were in front of me. Nath was 3rd. I reckon Archie was 5th. Maybe I was 6th.
Who won?
Liam Adams. Abiri Belay was 2nd. Nath was 3rd. Archie was 5th. Who got... Oh, the guy from Western A's. He had an absolute blinder. Shuey.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And I was happy with the way... Like, I was happy averaging 3:05s on that course. But anyway, we're getting off track. But I think that's the... Yeah, I can almost look at my Strava from last year and be like, okay, might go back to stall Croaks. Might do that, Moose. Get on the track there. Get in the spikes.
Oh, jeez, can't wait for that.
Me and you got tagged in a little Twitter thing the other day, trying to get us both there.
Did we?
Yeah, someone said get Moose, Croaks, and Brady there.
Oh, mate, Twitter's cooked these days. I would love for you not to do stall so we don't have to listen to it.
Yeah, well, we're just about to get recapping our years, and that will come up when I talk about mine. Right. But tell me about yours, Croaks. Give it a score out of 10. What did you rate your year? What was your race of the year? And what was your favourite shoe you ran in this year?
You know what? I'd give it a 7 out of 10. Because, like, looking this time last year, I had a dodgy calf and not, and basically 10th of January I got COVID and got pretty sick. So end of January I was the most unfit that I'd been in 10 years probably. And I slowly built up, got, in decent shape by May, ran Sydney 10, which was, pretty good off, from where I'd been in January.
Remind us what time you run? 30,
26 or something, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I decided that I was going to go to Gold Coast and pace, but also finish it. So I had sort of not a traditional marathon build, but I was, knocking out some decent sessions, some decent volume for that sort of 5 or 6 week period. Happy with the 2:23, especially given it was, essentially solo. And then the back end was disappointing, largely due to sickness. I had like about a month after Gold Coast, a throat infection. Got back for about 3 or 4 weeks, then got pneumonia. Started to then build up maybe 5 or 6 weeks, and then got this calf thing, which sort of came out of nowhere, and then that's my year. So that middle sort of 6-7 months was actually really good. Just the start of the year and the end of the year just weren't so great.
Favourite race? You got a lot to choose from, obviously. Which one are you going to go with?
I probably enjoyed Gold Coast more than Sydney. Sydney, I just felt like I hadn't, and I mentioned this during the recap, I hadn't done a lot of harder intensity training. So I was happy with 30-26, but the back end of it was pretty like ordinary just because I wasn't race fit. Whereas Gold Coast was, enjoyable, happy with the time and the experience.
And favourite shoe?
Probably the shoe that I got the most miles out of and enjoyed. So I started in this shoe the week after Sydney 10. Was the On Cloud Monster. I've had a couple of pairs of those this year, and they've sort of been my go-to midweek long run shoe and my Sunday run shoe, and I've been able to run pretty fast in those and feel good doing it. So that's probably the shoe for me that I enjoyed this year.
Good reflection. Moose, score out of 10 for your 2022?
I reckon 7 as well.
Seven's a real cop-out number. Someone once told me, like, talking about a job. They said, give this job a score, but you're not allowed to choose 7. So if it's 6 out of 10, you're not happy, it's pretty shit. If it's 8 out of 10, you're really happy, don't think about a career change.
Yeah.
Said you can't choose 7. You blokes are both chose...
What would you given my year, Brady?
Yeah, I thought... I was going to give myself 8, so I thought you were pretty generous with 7, but you
I'll
did
go
recap
6,
it pretty well.
I'll go 6 then.
I'm not... It's your reflection, and you explained it well to back it up. I just think 7, yeah. But anyway, Bruce, keep going. Some
Actually,
life
I
advice
think
in there.
7's spot on because it's neither of those two things you said.
Yeah, so there you go.
Because it's relative, right? I give it a 7 based off the situation in life where I'm at, and my goals for the year coming in, I didn't achieve them because I came in the year and I was building back mileage, so I was feeling pretty good. I got COVID in the first week, and then I got into some racing, and I ended up running. I ended up running pretty well through Feb, and then in March I got a sore knee. So the sore knee cooked me until, and then by that stage it was a very bad flare-up. So I didn't run for like 8 weeks or something. And then I came back only doing 30, 40, 50, 60, 70K a week. And so I had very low expectations after March. And I ran cross-country. I think I did, I'm going to say 6 races. Maybe 7, and I loved it. And I felt like I performed well off my mileage there. So, and I thought I helped Geelong get up to 3rd place in the state, the championships or the series. So, really happy with how cross country went. I was able to score in Division 1 a couple of times, and from there again, I've just been building slowly, and I've put myself in a position where I can train for a marathon. So this year was quite disappointing, and probably at June 1st, it was a 2 out of 10. But I'm really kind of, I guess, proud of how I've been able to stay disciplined and patient and just stick at it, even through some pretty ominous times, I guess, and outlooks on my running future. Like mountain bike nearly got me away. I started surfing again. And so being able to come back to running, even with an outlook where I'll never get back to where I was, I reckon you take a 9 out of 10 for the second half of the year, and you take the 2 off it, so we're down to 7. And this is like, I've got to say thank you to the group that I train with, because without those guys, I'm probably on a bike now or I'm surfing somewhere. So like huge credit to them for getting me back and always being there on a certain night or a day or at a race where I can feel like I'm part of a team, because that's and feel like I'm part of the I have an identity with the group, and that's what keeps me out there. So massive kudos to those guys.
Well, we've got to thank them too then, Crow, because they've kept our co-host here through 2022 by the sound of things. Yeah. So good on you, Surf Coast Track Club, building that culture. Favourite shoe moose of the year?
Well, Saucony Triumph 20, favourite shoe.
Okay. And the favourite race you did?
Bandura. It's classic cross country.
Oh, yeah.
It's the Victorian Championships. Bandura was the round that Geelong turned the season around. I think we got second or third. I think we're second.
You got second because you helped us beat Box Hill.
Yeah, we came back on a count back, I think it was. So we were second. It was bloody hard work. It was one of the hardest races. And I was like, that felt like, Geelong cross country is back, and it has a good feel to it again. So that got me so up and
You
about.
all came in together, didn't you? There was like 4 of you Geelong guys between like 25th and 32nd.
Yeah, we were, and
team race.
It wasn't a deep team. It was just a lot of blokes running a few spots higher than what they probably normally would, and that's what made it so good.
Yeah, as I said before, I'd say 8. Like if I nailed Valencia, it would have been a 9. I was happy with the 10K and the half PB. Like I
reckon if you nail Valencia,
you probably can't ask for much more, can you?
That's a 10. You can't do much more. Like you had a brilliant year of running.
It's hard to end the year with Valencia too, because I'm like, oh damn it! Like that's the thing that's in my memory. I'm kind of forgetting all the other stuff that happened, but yeah, it was good. I was pretty unfit. Like Jan Olivia was born very late December, had some time off, built back up, and then like what you just talked about, that club culture, like the stuff we did with the Bendigo Bats was fun. It was hard at times to get to 10 races, but kind of proud that we did that and we pulled off that season and just kind of created that culture for our team. And then it was good to kind of get away to the faster races, I suppose, the Launceston and the Gold Coast in between to get those PBs. I think my race of the year was probably Launceston. I kind of never thought I'd run that quick. Like I always thought I'd just be a guy trying to just break 30, be like a 29, 50 guy, 29.55. So to kind of go that 29, I think I ran 29.25. I kind of just never thought I'd get that quick. And that just worked perfectly. One of those ones where just felt like smooth the whole way and you'd come home super strong. And my shoe of the year would be I'm going to say the Mizuno Rebellion Pro because I had so much fun training in it. I didn't get to race in it, but it's the only shoe probably the Cloud Monster as well in a jogging sense. The only shoe I put on and I'm like, wow, this is different. And kind of excites you when you're warming up knowing you're about to put that shoe on for a workout. So big things to come in that shoe race-wise, hopefully in 2023.
I probably would have said that as well, Brady, but I've only done one run in it. But definitely will be on we're using it a lot next year.
It was just a shoe with that wow factor. Like you put it on and you're like, this is like when I put the Vaporfly on for the very first time. Like we've entered a new category of performance racing shoes, I think.
I remember messaging you when I got them. I'd just done a run through down the hall and I'm like, holy shit, I haven't felt this way in a shoe since I put on the Alpha Fly. So, Brady, can I say one thing to justify my 7 as well instead of a 6? Because I forgot to mention this. I think this year has been the first year since 2018 where I actually haven't had massive issues with my body in terms of, locked up through my back and hips. So although I haven't had a great year in terms of, outstanding performances, I've actually enjoyed my running the most this year in the last 3 because when I have been running, I've felt like a runner. Even when I've been unfit, I still feel like I've been moving okay, which, sometimes I'd take that over being fit but feel like you're moving shit because it's just not that enjoyable.
And we're all looking through this with different lenses. Like I'm very much race focused and it's like, well, how I win in the races is dictating my score. And you're like, how am I covering the ground almost? Like that's how are you enjoying the training? Yeah. And then Moose has got a bit of both with that culture and who he surrounds himself with as well. And where we're coming from was different, I suppose, as well. Jan first. Anyway, boys, let's thank some Patreon supporters. Moose, do you want to kick things off?
Yep, I have to thank you, Mark McComish from Dublin in Ireland. Whoa. Got a few Irish patrons, do we? Not too many, I can't remember reading out.
Wouldn't have been too many over the years. There's a few. I reckon I met a few in Valencia too.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
We haven't really talked about that.
Because they knew Mark Kerwin.
Oh, yeah.
They all know Mark Kerwin over there, yeah. Run with him.
Does he still run?
I don't know. I haven't seen anything results-wise, but I think he still gets out. He's got a couple of kids. Yeah.
So Mark, he's from Dublin, Ireland. His Strava's pretty locked down, but I found out that he ran 23:43 at the 2018 Dunboyne 4-mile race. So that's what, 6.4k? That's a pretty good time for that. Well, that's a really fast time. Consider that.
What's that,
23:43
pace?
Oh, yeah, maybe it's not that fast.
Well, it's still
Sorry.
pretty quick.
Yeah, I had my 8s and 6s around the wrong way there. Has run for Rani Shamrock Athletic Club, and is a regular run director at St Anne's Parkrun. He is a chartered accountant and is the managing director at Compliance Management and GXP Training. Good on you, Mark. Thank you for signing up, supporting the show.
Is GXP, is that, when you download a file from your Garmin or your Coros? Is that GXP? Is that a GXP file? Would that be something to do with that?
No,
GPX?
I reckon this is more accounting stuff.
That's GPX, GPX.
Not far off. Thanks for your support, Mark. Cokes, who you got?
I got Thomas Christofferson from Norway. He ran this year's Valencia Marathon with Brady. He ran 2:56:14 with splits of 87:55 and 89:19. So not a bad positive split. I think he might have qualifications in leadership training and works for Bravida, which is a building and construction company, in Norway. Thanks, Thomas.
I'm going to thank Gemma Wilson. Croaks, help me say this suburb.
Witangara.
Witangara, ACT. Is it a good suburb, Croaks, up there?
It's over near sort of Belconnen way.
Oh, yeah?
North side, yeah.
Yep. Best parkrun result of 22:55 at the Gindiera parkrun.
Ginandera.
Close. According to her parkrun profile, she has run 196 parkruns at 28 different locations and has volunteered 27 times. Thinks she might be a teacher librarian at the Radford College, which is one of the best colleges in Canberra, supposedly, from my research.
So what do librarians do these days, like given that most stuff's online? They still do books and stuff in the library?
We moved our library. It's moving rooms at our school, so we had to move 20,000 books last week.
Oh, any running books?
We got primary school. Those kids aren't reading running books. But it's very much still books where I am.
Yeah.
They got like an app on their iPad where they can access like an online library, but it'd probably be different in high school. Croaks, do you know?
I'm not sure. Well, we don't really have a library where I teach, but maybe some of the, like Bradford's a private school, maybe they still have their like a library.
Oh, really? You don't have one at all?
Not really, no.
She's on 196 parkruns, but she might have done the Christmas Eve, Christmas Day double, and then she might have the New Year's Eve, New Year's Day double lined up to get to her 200.
And she might have done a few where she didn't take her barcode, so she might be over 200.
Pretty impressive, isn't it? Quick news wrap here, boys. Vic Miles Club happened on, the days blending together a bit here. Was it Thursday night? I think it was. Andre Waring continued his fine form, got the win in 3:42.8. Beat Jared Clifford. Haven't said his name for a while, Clifford. And a bit of a while. I think it was since the Tokyo Paralympics, since his last 1500. He was in good shape though, ran 3:44.4. Riley Bryce ran 3:45. It was deep race because that was the A's, but in the B race there were 7 blokes that broke 3:52. Can you believe that, Moose?
That's strong.
That's strong, isn't it? Yeah. There was one in like 3:48, the B race. So good depth there. Your mate Moose, I think you're travelling to Osaka with her. She's a Mizuno athlete, just announced. I think she's on that same trip as you. Morgan Mitchell, she won the women's in 4:27.9. Piper Gay was second in 4:28.7, and Hayley Whitsed was third in 4:28.8. There were some 800s there as well. Davina Smith won that in 2:09. Rochelle Kennedy was second in 2:10.6, and Shani Landon was third in 2:10.7. And probably the run of the night, because it was the meet record, Jack Lunn, he ran 1:47.6. Sorry, meet record, Vic Miles Club record. Not sure what terminology they use. Jamie Harrison was second from Collingwood, 148.3. And Luke Major was third, also from Collingwood, in 150.6. Did you catch any of it, Moose? Any comments? Want to move on to New South Wales Milers Club? I don't mind. Give me something.
No, I didn't see any of it. Thursday must have been an event or something, was it?
Yeah, it was hard to... Yeah, I was the same. I think they were pretty late as well. I think those B-boys, because we had a couple of young Bendigo kids in there, I think they were on at like 9:40pm or something like that.
Yeah.
Late one for them. Croaks, you want to quickly take us to New South Wales?
So in the women's 800, Ruby Madden won in 2:13.8. Aspen Lambert was second in 2:15.2, and Zoe Woods was third in 2:16.67. In the men's, Riley McGowan, who's from Canberra, he won in 1:50.22. Ben Jagger was second, 1:50.7. Obsa Yusuf, third in 1:53.01. And then in the men's 15, Cameron Musgrove, another Canberran, he won in 3:49.34. Daniel Williams, now this is impressive, he's 15. He finished second. He's from Byron Bay, ran 3:49.74, which I believe is an Australian under 16 record. So that's pretty incredible. He's one to look out for in the next few years. And Luke Boys was third in 3:49.82. In the women's, Georgia Winkcup, she won the race, pretty much a solo effort, 4:19.04. Neve Allen, second, 4:25.96, and Tia Brady, third in 4:36.
Some depth getting around the country, isn't there? And some talent. Some absolute talent. 15.
Yeah.
3:49. Yeah, that's crazy fast. The other bit of running news was the Olympic Committee announced the Paris Olympic Standards 2024. The most notable point here was probably that the qualifying period is already open. So Brett Robinson and Sinead Diver's recent marathons fall within the qualification period, which is important because the men's marathon standard was 2:08.10. So a very hard one to get. The women's was 2:26.50. So kind of, you're not expecting many men to get that, but you're probably expecting 6 or 7 women to get the women's one. So it's funny how it works like that. Very quick, 1:44.7 for the men's 800, 3:33.5 for the 1500. Not going to cause our boys any issues there, though. I think they're all quicker than that. 13:05 for the 5K, so that's difficult. And 27 flat for the men's 10K. So you've got to beat the Australian record by what, 15 seconds, 12 seconds to get the time. And then 8:15 for the steeple. Women's is 1:59.3 for the 8, so that's pretty tough. But 4:02.5 for the 15, our ladies will get. 14:52 for the 5's really tough. And 30:40 for the women's 10K is extremely tough. 9:23 for the steeple. Anything comes off the top of your head, boys? I think the rankings are going to be super important here because a lot of people aren't going to be able to hit those times. And that's what they want, isn't it?
Yeah, well, what stands out to me here is how important Oceania Championships will be, and how the organisers or the AA or who, I guess it's not AA, it's Oceania Athletics, or I'm not sure what the name is, but they need to set this up where we're running fast, because you can't go to like Cairns in the heat of the day trying to run times when all the points are on offer. I think these races need to be set up because there's going to be a lot of Australian athletes going there trying to accumulate good points and run fast so that they get that the ranking point entry, because these are all set up to kind of be 50-50. 50% are auto qualifiers and 50 are rankings. And so you look at 27 flat for a men's 10 and you go, well, rankings is going to play a big part there for a lot of countries.
Would it be ever worth, because they always go places where it's hot, isn't it? Like I've never heard of, what's probably happened, but I've just never heard of it. Oceania's been in like Tassie or Melbourne. Like would it be worth them just doing the distance races somewhere where it's cooler?
I think it's...
Or it has to be in the same spot. Is that too much work?
Have to look up. You can do it all in a cooler environment if you're prioritising the progression of athletics. That's what it has to be.
Yeah, but sprinters like it hot, Moose.
But you can't cater just for one type of athlete. Like Sydney in winter is not ridiculously cold. You know what I mean? like, yeah, okay, it's not ideal. It's not ideal sprinting weather, but you're never going to get an environment that caters for both sprinters and distance runners.
How hot do sprinters like it?
They like it pretty hot, I think.
Do they?
They like it hot, Moose. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
They like it real hot.
But if you want to get distance runners qualified, as Moose said, like going to Cairns, in the middle of winter, it's still too hot.
Yeah.
So they need to, have it in winter.
Advertise it early too. Athletes have to make plans for it. Almost like if this is where you're going to try to get your qualifiers at in terms of ranking points. So you've got to base the season around it almost.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Hopefully they're having those conversations behind closed doors at the moment because it's going to play a massive part. I'm thinking we might go listen to question Moose on the loose and then we'll wrap up all the awards in one hit. Boys, happy with that? All right. Listen to question, Croaks.
Yeah, so a few weeks back, somebody wrote in, I don't have it in front of me, but the question was, what are your goals for 2023? And Croker, it can't be just to have fun. I remember that's what the question was. I just can't remember who wrote it.
Good question. Do you want to actually move that to next week? This show's all in about reflection, and let's get goal setting next week.
All right.
And I also haven't thought too much about this yet, so we can start thinking about some stuff. Yeah. All right, Moose on the loose. You got something, Moose?
Well, outside of the poor humour popping up in my Strava, and also just people pigging back on not funny comments with liking it. I thought that was pretty real low level.
Just basic
real
stats.
Low level stuff. I'm starting to worry about the intelligence of my followers, but. We in summer here, so a lot of people down here running for the first time on their trip away from wherever else they live. They come down here for a week or so, and this is a replay, maybe up to the fourth or fifth time I've used this Moose on the loose, but it doesn't hurt to say hello. Come on, I get you don't live in this town, and I get you might. I don't actually. That's all. I don't even get that. If someone's coming towards you and you're isolated in the bush, and they look up and you're the only two runners within a kilometre, I look up. I try to make it as comfortable as possible from a distance out. I'm like, okay, perhaps this lady coming towards me is not comfortable, or it's a little awkward for her. She might be insecure. I understand that. I appreciate that. So I'm going to raise my hand, wave, smile, say, hi, morning, g'day. And it just feels really shit when they look at you and they just fucking ghost you, stare at the ground, trudge off. At the start, I'm like, oh, that makes me mad. And then for the next 10 minutes, I think, well, actually, it makes me feel pretty shit. Can you just acknowledge the existence of another human out here enjoying this track with you? And so today, Ali and I in Aries, ran past two people. Ali is the biggest hello person in the world. It's annoyingly so. She'll say hello to people 50 meters away, and not even looking. So she said hello to two people this morning coming towards us, and I was just cringed at the absolute ghost cold shoulder she got. And she's like, okay, it started, hasn't it? Yeah, they're here already. What is it about those that don't live in a small town not being able to say hello to other humans? We're all the one species. We're all the one race of... it might not be the same race, but we're the same species of person. We all acknowledge, say you don't speak English, we acknowledge smiling. We know what a wave means. Come on. Boxing Day too. In the morning, it was a beautiful morning.
Big cities grown out of it, Moose. You know what I mean? Too long in the big city, they've lost those skills.
Why don't you like other people? Just because you live in the city doesn't mean you don't have to dislike people.
Maybe they just feel intimidated by Surf Coast Track Club.
Yeah, that article, it was like a bullying thing, wasn't it? You can't do anything down there.
Not at all. We smile. We say hello. We are a very approachable bunch. And this wasn't us. This was Ali and I. This was a female this morning saying hello.
We were joking, Moose.
No, I don't like it.
Fair enough.
the other thing is, like, we're runners. Runners have a special relationship with one another. Like, the person that wears $300 splitties, I still feel like we have a bond, me and that person. Or if you're taking a photo mid-run, and I run past, I'm like, yeah, they're a runner. Like, we have a thing. We can talk to each other. We get it. But runners from the city, I'm not sure that we do get along, because I'm not getting any smiles back. I'm not getting any good mornings, and it makes me feel upset, sad, unappreciated.
Good one. I feel like it's been done before, but you've taken it to a new level, which is good.
It's going to keep going, because this is like...
Oh, I'm with you. Small town, tourist town. Happens. You know when
you
they
get
come
a bit
in.
up there?
Oh, yeah.
Same problem?
Same problem, yeah. Kind of try to avoid anywhere where I have to see anyone these days, because just can't be bothered. But you can pick it, can't you?
Yeah, it's... And this morning we were joking about it, until the joke became, actually, why the fuck aren't they saying hello? And then I got in myself a bit of a tiz, and now I've come out of it quite upset.
All right, let's move on to the awards part of the evening.
Yeah, this is what we're here for.
Highlight.
If you're still skipping, this is the place to stop where we start talking about this stuff. Thanks to the people who voted. The People's Choice kind of component of it was new this year, so we've got a spreadsheet open now. Just pretty much nearly 1,000 people voted, which I thought was pretty cool. They didn't all vote on the same questions. We made the first two optional, mandatory, the performance of the year and the athlete of the year, so you had to vote on those ones. But the other ones, we just wanted some suggestions, some of your answers there. I don't want to start with performance of the year, boys, because I feel like that's one of the big ones. Do you want to start a bit easier than that? Do you want to start with most improved athlete of 2022? Happy with that?
Yeah, all right.
We can't see each other's answers. We're all working off different documents here. I'm hoping you guys have done some homework, but let's start with that one. Croaks, you're trying to bring in different criteria. You think there should be rules about who you can vote for, things like that. Have you got some kind of criteria that you go for when you're thinking about most improved?
So most improved is somebody clearly that has improved, but this time last year, you wouldn't think that they've achieved what they have achieved this year.
Yeah, that's a good point. They've come out of nowhere, sort of thing.
Yeah, like they've or like stepped up to a new level. I've got more rules around the ones to watch category, but this one is definitely, and for me, the tiebreaker is if I put myself 12 months ago, which one have I been most impressed with in terms of what they've achieved given where they were last year?
That's fair.
Look, and I reckon there's, I really struggled to narrow this down. I had 4 initially. Do you want me to list the 4 that I had shortlisted?
Yeah,
I do have my standout.
Moose told me I'm only allowed to say one name for men and women.
No, that's for ones to watch.
Oh, that's the ones to watch. Yeah,
I'll still give you my answer, but in terms of the short list, I had Leanne Pompiani, Abby Caldwell.
Abby Caldwell is most popular amongst our voters.
Yep. I had Nat Rule, and I had Kai Robinson. So just for some background, so Leanne has been sort of on that national scene for quite a while, but this is the first year where she's really beat some of the big names. Winning City to Surf in the second fastest time ever is bloody impressive. So, and her PBs have come down a little bit. Probably the 5K was the most significant one, where she went from I think close to 16 minutes to 15:20, and she could probably run faster right now if she ran a 5K. Abby Caldwell, she went from 207 in the 800 down to 159, 407 down to 404 in the 1500. Won her first national title and also won a Com Games bronze medal. Nat Rule went from 416 to 409 in the 1500, from 1539 to 1506 in the 5K, and also got a start at Com Games and World Champs. And Kai Robinson went from 1350 in the 5K to 1311, debuted in the 10K and ran sub 28 minutes. So they were my 4.
They're good 4.
He's done some homework too, hasn't he, Mitch? Yeah. It's like he wants to win it himself. Who's the best
host
answers?
This was Christmas Day.
Yeah.
And it's if I look back at, all right, if I was to look at all of these 4 this time last year and look at what they've achieved, I've gone with Abby Caldwell because she's sort of stepped up on the world stage more so than what the others have. Even though they've all improved significantly, I feel like Abby was the one that, from an international standpoint, made the biggest breakthrough.
You can't argue with that.
96 people agree with you, Croaks, on the voting. The only other person that you haven't mentioned, Moose might mention him in a second, so I won't say it yet, but there is some person that got over 50, and that would be the second highest.
Okay.
Well, I'm not mentioning...
Oh, sorry, Leanne. Oh, how many did I say for Abby? Oh, actually...
I thought Leanne and Abby were very similar when I did the quick math on it.
So,
I thought you did a great job there, Croaks.
Leanne, 102, actually. She was the highest person that voted. Highest amount of votes that come in for that one.
I feel like Leanne on the voting would get a lot just because of like the recent results. But if you think about Abby, like 207 to 159 is getting like world class in the 8.
Well, and she won a medal.
Plus winning Com Games medal.
Yeah.
That's why she's and look, even that rule, 1539 down to 1506. Like 1506 is getting pretty serious in the 5K. But Abby was able to convert that on the world stage by winning a Com Games medal.
Yeah, she got the time and she got the medal.
And beat the likes of Jess, Hull and Lyndon to do it.
Yeah, if someone put you in a time machine and takes you this time last year and tells you that, you're probably falling off your seat. Abby Caldwell's going to the Com Games and meeting Jess Hull in the 15. Oh, in the 15? 15. And she had to deal with a bit of controversy to do that.
Yeah. So the tricky bit here is when you get athletes that are already on the world stage stepping up a bit.
That's my
one. Yeah, because obviously... Well, you go ahead, Brady. You name your name.
I actually went with the same person I went with last year, Moose, for most improved, Sinead Diver. I know this will cause some issues here, but I've got some stuff to justify it because I know it triggered Croaks last year. But she ran 221. She ran 221. The next fastest person in the current marathon rankings with female is Lisa with 224.00. She is over... I did work this out today, how many seconds clear. She's 2 minutes 24 clear of every other woman marathoner at the moment, and we know how strong it is. Of course, she was amazing. She came 10th at the Olympics, but she has put herself in a whole different league than those amazing marathoners we have on a time basis. So for that, I think that's a significant improvement for someone who was already at a very, very high level.
I disagree.
Yeah.
Don't have to agree.
I disagree as well because I feel like 10th at the Olympics is worth 220.
Yeah.
You've got to do it, though. You've got to do it.
221.
You can't just go hypothetically, it should be somewhere there.
On the standings, in terms of, like, if 10th at the Olympics elevates her to a great of ours. 221 is a
takes
plateau.
Her to the greatest. She moves to the greatest, from a great to the greatest.
I don't think it's better than...
She's in a contest. What'd you run? 221.30, didn't she? What were the seconds?
If we're going back to the rules, if we're standing here, if we're standing here this time last year when Sinead has just finished 10th in the Olympics in the marathon, and you say, all right, what time would you expect somebody who's finished 10th at the Olympics to run on a flat marathon course? You'd probably say 221. Whereas
it was
Abby,
hot, Croaks, wasn't it? There was the hot factor, and did she go prepare better in the heat to get that 10th, and how many people were at the Olympics? I don't think... she won 221.34. If you told me this time last year that Sinead Diver's going to run 221.34, I would be... I think she was going to run quicker than her PB. Remember, her PB was 224. She come out... 221 is bloody quick. It's the fastest ever. She wasn't getting any younger.
Caldwell would win a Com Games medal and beat Lyndon and Jess?
I actually, in my notes here, I said the obvious answers are Leanne and Abby, which I knew you two were going to go with. And I've said, you know what, I'm here to mix things up a bit. And I've seen some of the voting, and I knew that was the case, and I just wanted to create a bit of conversation.
You don't tell us that.
It's fair. It is, Sinead, it is a significant improvement, but 10th at the Olympics is, is probably on par in a way.
You know what will make it more significant? If those other girls don't run similar times this coming year, 2023. Because you could say that, Jess has run a hilly one in the comp games, and that's what I'm excited about, what's coming up a bit later. But if that's still going to be an outlier in 12 months, because she's in a league of her own, that's why she's most improved. Congratulations, Sinead, for winning that award for me.
Did you have someone else, Moose?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I kind of had Kai Robinson there. However, you convinced me. It's Abby Caldwell. It's Abby Caldwell because of the world stage thing.
Yeah.
And sure, she probably would win more races if she didn't go to the Com Games and the World Champs. The Com Games. She did not go to the World Champs.
Mm-hmm.
But she would have, domestically, she'd probably win more races. And so I'm with you on that. My answer is Abby Caldwell.
The other one that came up a lot, and they're using the same thinking I am, is Jack Rayner. But was already was already at that. Yeah. Did you? Yeah.
I considered
over
Jack.
50. Yeah.
Yeah. Because he's come out run Australian record, but I went back to his 61 half. He basically demolition of the Australian running scene. His unbeatability at every domestic fun run, and so I couldn't put it him because we knew how good he was, and so it wasn't him for me.
Well, do you want to go with performance of the year next? This was a standout winner on the voting. 41% of the votes went to the one performance. 24.5 was the next best, and then 19.6, and fourth was 11.6. Everything else was kind of like insignificant to even talk about. It was like 1%. So the big one. You guys tell me what you went for first, and I wonder if you match up to this one.
Okay, so performance of the year for me was Sinead running the Australian marathon record, and the reason, she will hate this, the reason comes down to her age. This standalone competes again with Brett running the record for the male record. However, if we're factoring in something that has never occurred in the world before, she's broken a world record by doing this, a Masters record. Yes, Australian Open record, but doing this as a 45-year-old is something that's never happened ever. This is a world first. She's basically almost defying science. She's groundbreaking. She's inspiring the entire kind of Masters community, really. She's inspiring everyone, but there are so many people and endless amounts that come in the store and tell us, oh, you see what Sinead Diver did? Yep. Wow, there's still time for us, isn't there? It gives us some hope. And maybe that's a cop-out, and Sinead probably not enjoying this conversation, but it's a real thing that's going on. The whole world was talking about it when she did it. This got the attention of the running world.
So if you bring the age factor into it, and there's talk of that young kid from Canberra, Cam Myers, potentially going to break 4 minutes for the mile and take Jakob's youngest ever person to do it.
He hasn't done that.
I know, but if he does it, would you then say this time next year that's performance of the year because he's the youngest person to ever do that?
No. That I don't need to use hypotheticals. Hypotheticals aren't part of it.
I'm really surprised by this from you, Moose, because
you are the age factor.
Yeah, we are looking at an open category here. Yeah. It's not age related, and
no, we're looking at performance of the year.
Yeah, exactly. And all right, well, do you want me to tell you who I think performance of the year is? Because it's definitely not Sinead. Although
to Moose's credit, that was third. That was 19.6% of the people voted for that. So there's people agreeing with him.
Yeah. All right. So I've gone with Ollie, Com Games 1500 metre final, and the reasons for it, there's a few. One, it was the first time that an Australian had done it since Herb Elliott back in 1958. The fact that he beat the current world champion to do it, he beat the previous world champ, so he beat Jake Whiteman, who won the world champs a few weeks earlier. He beat Tim Chariot, who was the previous world champion. Josh Kerr, who was the Olympic bronze medalist. The way that it was run, it was the second fastest time ever by an Aussie. It was a PB, half a second behind Stewie's Aussie record. And his performance was world class. Yes, Sinead's performance is incredible. It's an Aussie record, but she's not getting close to beating a world champion doing it. And if we're looking at an open category here, it's got to be Ollie.
Doesn't have to be.
Can be Sinead. I've got a different one. 41%, Croaks. Some people agree with you, though. I thought you two were both going to go Ollie because I saw the votes as well, and I was like, I wonder if I can dig around somewhere because I looked at the second percentage and I thought, I wonder, it's Brett Robinson's Australian marathon record, which is 24.5%. And I started looking at some numbers and I started thinking about the record that we've spoken about the most on this podcast going down the last 5 years was this, the marathon, the Deeks record. It's been there for 36 years. Everyone wanted it to see it to go. Everyone's tried to go it. Think about the names who have stepped up to the marathon over the last couple of years. We've seen Mottram try to do it. Benny Saint, Collis had to go. Jeff Hunt debuted at 2:11 and we thought he'd take it. Mona, Troopy, Sean Crichton, Nick Harrison, Brad Camp, Pat Carroll were all around those times. Never got it. Brett's had the adversity in the event. Could have went back to the track. Stuck to it over all these years of probably people doubting if he'd ever get down there. And he did get down there to run 2:07.31. I think it's performance of the year because the Ollie factor croaks. This was the only little tiny asterisk I had next to the Ollie factor, that all those boys peaked at the World Champs. 20 days later, they rocked up to the Com Games. Was he racing them at their best? And it wasn't as, like, I know you talked about the people
We're
who
at
were...
330.12. The guys weren't running much faster than that all season anyway.
Yeah, you're talking about performance as the time or performance as the win, or both?
Well, both. Like,
Yeah,
he
both.
won it in
Yeah,
330.12.
I kind of agree with you, but I'm just trying to generate a bit of conversation here. But I think Brett's performance was bloody good. I think we look at things and go, if you said to me this time last year, what's going to be more impressive, someone winning the Australian Commonwealth Games 1500 or someone breaking the Australian record at the marathon, I'd have to say the marathon.
But it depends. If you're looking at the field that Ollie had to beat to win the Com Games gold.
Do you know who were 5th and 6th in that race?
In what?
In that final you're talking about with Ollie's?
Yeah, Jake Hayward.
And Sam Tanner.
And Abel
are they top of the world guys? Those 5th and 6th though. I know he had to get. I know he had to get over 3 good guys, and I love him, and I love the race. And it's going to come up a bit later on for me, but I think they're on their way down, and he was on his
Jake
way.
Hayward?
Yeah, Moose hadn't even heard of these people in this race.
He's a UK guy, so he went to the Olympics as well.
He did run 3:31 for coming 5th.
But the point is, if we're talking performance of the year, what Ollie did is world class. Brett, who's the best marathoner in the world?
Yeah, probably Elliot Kipchoge, I reckon.
You know, Brett's still
6 minutes
7 minutes behind, whereas Ollie is beating world champions to win this race.
Yeah, from 20 days earlier.
It's a good performance.
Yeah.
It's a good performance. But an ancient aid diver at 45 years old running 2:21, something that the world has never seen before.
I'm glad the public agreed with me.
Well, it's interesting because I was listening to Brett's podcast and he actually voted himself the winner of this category as well. So he agrees with me. So that's good that he's on the board. Race of the year, boys. What was your race of the year? Can I go first this time? Mine was Ollie Hawke, Com Games gold medal, 1500. So many storylines. So many world champs of current, past and Olympic bronze medalist. Josh Kerr, he did nothing. He was in last place, I think. Bruce McAvaney made it the race of the year on the microphone. The Australians and Brad Croker absolutely froth Commonwealth Games. So it was in your face. It was on primetime TV. People were talking to me about it in the staff room at lunch. And he had to get over the current world champion. He ran 3:30.1. So it was just an amazing race of the year. Not quite performance of the year, but race of the year for me. Moose, what do you got?
Well, yeah, race of the year. I read this question as, what did I love watching the most? And so I love watching women's Com Games marathon the most. So I love watching Jess Stenson, who is a friend of the show, one of the best people out there, coming off, not really coming off anything. I mean, she obviously had a baby and got back that way, but she may have had COVID before. Did she have COVID in St. Moritz?
Between Gold Coast and
Yeah, and I mean, we all had COVID, but I her running away, how she won that marathon, and just the last 10K over the hills, how she executed that race, and watching her celebrate down the finish line, that was my race of the year. That was one of the best things I've ever seen. So I don't think I don't think anything tops that from what I saw on TV.
And like you're messaging her in a message group, like as she's doing it, kind of thing. You know what I mean? It's just like, holy shit, Jess! Like knowing she's out there putting Kenyans away.
Yeah, and
you had that personal connection.
I don't think anyone picked how that's what was going to happen.
The destruction she did to other people.
Yeah.
That was like a bit of a wow moment. Yeah,
it was like you could have put a lot of different girls in that race. I know the field wasn't the greatest, but you could have put a lot in there, and she would have been hard to beat. 22
people out of about 700 agree with you there.
Is that right?
Yep. But I'm thinking there'd be a good 500, 600 Ollie Haw here. But Croaks, who are you going with?
So it came down to 2 for me, and my criteria for this one is what race sort of gets me up off my couch going, holy shit, like what am I seeing here? And it was either the world champs 1500 metre final where Whiteman beat Ingebrigtsen because no one really expected that to happen. Everyone thought that he would he's basically unbeatable all year. Or it was Ollie at the Com Games. And so from an Aussie point of view, it would obviously be that one. But I think because you've gone with that one, Brady, I'll go with the World Champs 1500 because that was probably a little bit more of an upset and, a bit more of an excitement factor in terms of like, oh, wow, he's actually he actually can be beaten.
Did you watch? That is. Yeah, that was. Did you? That was insane. Just watching that. Did you watch Ollie live?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
I was crook.
It was like 10 p.m. or something like that. I remember that our kids weren't sleeping real well, and I decided to go to bed, and then I just woke up, and I'm like, seeing it live would have been so much better than watching the replay.
Yeah.
Knowing the result. Good chat there. Most consistent. Now, this was one that we left off promo on last week, and we left off the form. That was our accident. Just slipped our minds. But this is one we was talking about in the past. Who you got here, boys? Most consistent, hard one, isn't it?
I didn't do the work here to go back. But what does jump to mind for me is Abby Caldwell. So pretty much every time she got out there and raced, she performed. She executed. So she was almost unbeatable in Victoria through the summer, and then went overseas, got her qualifier very quickly, came back prepared, did Com Games again, basically executed as best that she possibly could have. So every time she raced really well. Is consistent, I don't think means you have to race often to be consistent. You just have to get it right more often than not. And she got it right nearly every time she stepped out there.
Yeah, good one. Hadn't thought about her. Remember she did the double at Vic Miles Club. She win an 8 and win a 3K or something like that. And it's Vic Miles, but it's still, yeah. When she toes the line, it's going to be a good result from her. She performs
when she steps out there, and I think that, and I haven't put a lot of thought into that, but she's just the person that I thought, she didn't have a bad one, really.
Yeah. Croaks, who you got?
So I had it narrowed down to 2. It was Ollie, because outside of his World Championships, he's pretty much in the top handful of every single race, and we're talking Oslo Diamond Leagues, Prefontaine Classics, Want to Make a Mile, which is like Milrose Games. So outside of the World Champs where he bombed out, he's in that top 3. Actually, so World Champs he bombed out, and which was it, the Lausanne Diamond League, he finished 12. We were sort of having that injury, but outside of that, it's pretty much top 3 or 4. And Peter Boll is the other one because outside of a 9th at Diamond League, he finished, and also 9th at one of his Diamond Leagues. He finished 7th at World Champs. Outside of that, he didn't finish any lower than 3rd, including heats and semis of World Champs in every race. So they're my 2. I probably went Ollie just based on the amount of races that Ollie did compared to Pete. So yeah, I'd go Ollie.
Moose's dog disagrees with you, I think, Croaks.
Yeah.
The thing with the consistency though around the World Champs, can you, if you're thinking about in other, it's his most important race of the year. Agree? Disagree? Agree?
Yeah, I agree. But if you're looking at,
I know he's raced a lot though.
If you're comparing it to somebody who's not competing at quite the same level, and they're finishing top few in race, the races that he does, 90% of them are almost world championship finals. and to be coming out top 3 or 4 in those is pretty incredible. But if you're looking at it from a numbers point of view, like Pete Bowl, 7th at World Champs, which, you know, is pretty good in the 800, won poor Diamond League, and outside of that, did not finish any lower than 3rd.
Yeah, it's good research from you. I must admit, because this one we forgot about and come on later, I also didn't do like much research, but I thought Jess Stenson deserves a mention because when she runs marathons, she gets it right, and she did that twice in 2022, which is what you can expect from a marathoner. 2 good marathon performances, Commonwealth Games, New York, pulled off the double. She is safestly our most consistent marathoner, men's or women's, to put your house on when she stands on the start line. So I thought that was from me. Ones to watch in 2023. This is where you wanted to implement a few rules here, Bradley.
Yeah, so my rule for this one is you want to treat the athletes like shares on the stock market. So, for example, Ollie Hoare, Stewie McSwain, like their share price right now is pretty high. And of course they're ones to watch next year. Just like your big bank shares are, you know, they're going to be good this time next year as well. But so you want to pick somebody whose share price is quite low at the moment, but this time next year you would have made a fair bit of money on.
Oh, good from you. This is. Yeah.
So you're trying to find a diamond in the rough, Crest. Is that what you're thinking? Yeah.
Essentially, yeah. Who has the biggest growth in their share price over the next year?
But if you can get, if Apple or Google are expensive croaks, but you know they're going to return 15%, you're still going to say them, aren't you?
But this is where last year you go, yeah, Ollie Hoare's one to watch.
And what did he do? What did he do?
But
he won Qualifications gold medal.
His stock market his share price went up a little bit, but we want to make a lot of money in the next year, not a little bit.
It's a competition. Like, put it this way: it's
who has the most growth. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly.
Okay.
It's who has the biggest percentage of growth.
I think I'll fuck this up then. But anyway, we'll go with you guys first.
So you should go through who we had for 2022.
Yeah, okay. So who we had this time last year, and then I'll read through some of the answers here. So I had Ollie Hoare, who went on to pretty much win every race he did other than the World Championships, won Commonwealth Gold. I also said Jess Stenson to rip a fast marathon, do something exciting over the marathon distance. What do you know there? And I said, I wonder what Luke Matthews is going to do with Justin Rinaldi. I think he's retired from running and now signed up for a country footy team or something.
So you lost your dough on that.
Yeah, but two from three, so 66.
Bullshit. You've basically pulled a 2-time Olympian out there. Com Games.
Jess, she was coming back from a baby.
Mate, you would have.
She did run. She did run quick in Perth. I done it right, haven't I? 2 safe bets and a risky one.
You would have made a bit of money this year because Ollie's price this time last year was still high, but it would be a bit higher now. And Jess, after winning Com Games, would also be a bit higher.
Well, she won AIS Athlete of the Year. She's the biggest name in Australian distance running.
Yeah, but she finished ninth. She finished 9th at the World Champs previously.
Yeah, but I could have easily said Stewie and Sinead.
Yeah,
well, Sinead's done pretty well.
All right, I'm glad we got these rules.
I think I pulled it up. Well, who's in blue here? Jack Rayner marathon.
The other rule you didn't mention was you can't pick the Zatopek under 20 winner because that's too obvious.
Okay.
It's also very, well, I don't know, because that is very rare they go on to stuff on the world stage within a year.
Yeah, but, okay.
Anyway, Maurice, you picked Jack Rayner over the marathon for something to watch.
I'm not sure. No, I said Jack Rayner.
Yeah, no,
he
it says
pretty
marathon
well.
here.
He broke the Australian record.
He did over 10K, but I think you were talking marathon, and you said Caitlin Adams, who has shown glimpses. Don't think she'd be happy with her Zatopek run, but on the road she's been pretty impressive.
Yeah, Noosa Bolt.
I think she was sick at the Zatopek.
Oh, okay. Well, the share price is definitely going up. So I reckon you're making a bit of money off that. Croaks, you said Haftu Strinzos. I probably murdered his name there. But
Who the hell is that?
He had the really good NCAA result in 2021. But then didn't he have a shocker in 2022, Croaks?
Yeah, so I wouldn't have made a lot so that wasn't a great pick. So, and look, I've got a few picks here because...
You got 6 people. You're going off of me not following the rules.
Because what happened was this time last year, Luke Matthews was on the show. And so he had picked a few of the same ones that I had, like some of the college kids. So then I went a few that weren't those. that's why there's more here.
Yeah, so Kai Robinson, that's returned well. You know, he's kicking away with the big boys at the bell at the World Champs 10K final.
Yeah.
Lauren Ryan, maybe you're breaking even, maybe you lost some money on that one. Abby Caldwell's paid huge dividends. Yeah. Claudia Hollingsworth, probably the same. And Morgan McDonald is running more, but he hasn't really done much performance-wise.
Yeah, Morgan broke the New South Wales 3K record, broke Benny Saint's 3K record this year.
He did run like 13:16 as well for 5K. It just got lost in the wash a bit, didn't it?
Well, 13:20, I think, but he ran
okay?
7:39 for 3K.
Yeah.
Just getting down there. So
showed some glimpses of his old self.
All right. I want to hear what Moose has got this year.
Yeah, well, I'm going to start off with hearing you blokes. No, I'm going to start off with my female because I haven't landed on my male yet. So we're going to pick one man, one lady only. I don't want to hear two names out of your mouth, Brady.
I've got 3 women, no men.
No, you don't.
I've got to think of a man. Yeah.
You've got one woman and one man.
Okay, I've got one. Yeah.
All right. So the woman is Amelia Mazadani. Stock price in Australia pretty low right now, considering she's only run the Zatopek 10, where she came 4th, I believe. 4th? Yeah, 4th. I think it was. Coming back from the US, where she was at, I think, New Mexico. She has been a big-time junior over here. But, yeah, the results don't really always find themselves getting back onto our show. I reckon we missed a couple of hers this year. I think she's got credentials she has the talent to do big things. I think she's got a good couple of years now at college learning high performance. Now she's matured a little bit. She's no longer like a junior athlete. She's going to step up into a professional. Well, I don't know. I actually don't know at all, but I assume that she's going to step up into some professional running, and I think she's going to be a big mover.
Do you know what her position... Yeah, do you know any whispers about who she's training with, what she's doing? She was in Box Hill kit, that's all I know.
Well, I saw that she had done a tempo with with Nat Rule maybe. And so maybe that she's going to train with the Melbourne Track Club. Yeah. I don't know. That's just my thoughts. Maybe she goes overseas. Maybe she's just here for Christmas. Probably. The point of this isn't to ask.
We're doing no research into our stock picks.
But yeah, that's my female. So now let's hear your females.
Correct. So
Go Brady.
Yeah, well, I had Caitlin Adams because I think she's almost mirrored what Leanne's done. Like, I think she's shown those glimpses and won those road races. I think she's ready to take the next step like Leanne did this year. I could see her winning Zatopek this time next year. I can see her making the World Cross Country team. I think she's got that opportunity to be... I loved what she did at Melbourne Marathon 10K. Like, she beat Rose pretty convincingly there. I know Rose wasn't in the form of what we've seen Rose, previously, but I think she's showing good glimpses of being able to, or not just glimpses, she's beaten, quality athletes on the road domestically, and I think she's going to potentially make the team for Australia at the World Cross Country Trials, and then I think we could see her winning a Zatopek, something like that. So I think stock, I think she's going to return well for my stock pick this time next year. Croaks?
I'm torn between two, but so there's an obvious one based on, who we've been chatting about the last couple of weeks and the rate of improvement. But one that we don't really talk about much on this show, she has been to World Champs and Olympics, but Amy Cashin. I feel like she's run pretty fast already, but she's not that well known in the country. But I don't think and I like the way that she races. I don't think she's far away from really matching it with the top girls in the steeple.
One person picked this, Croaks.
Did they?
And two people picked Amelia. Moose?
Okay.
So you guys have gone very niche here, but you're on people's radar.
Well, my other one was obviously like Leanne. But I'll go Amy just because, she's... I guess stock price is solid from what she's already done, but I feel like she's not far away from maybe being a bit of a a name out there.
Do you know 7 people voted for Moose in this category? There's a lot of there's a lot of Morgan McDonald. There's a lot of Pete Bowles. A bit of Seth O'Donnell. There's a bit of There's a few Toby Mendes here.
Brady, you had 7 vote for you.
10 voted for Toby Mendes. Oh, did you? Did I? Did anyone go Caitlin Adams with me? Where's the C? Oh yeah.
No, there's one Caitlin.
This is hard when you only get one guy and one girl.
There's another Croaks and Croker. So that's 4.
Who's your boy, Moose?
Seth O'Donnell.
Oh yeah.
So Seth O'Donnell, stock price pretty low after cross country's ended. I reckon may have got injured or something.
Didn't see him at Zatopek though. Yeah, I was interested where he was.
He's disappeared a little bit. He did not win National Cross. Did win National Cross.
Did win National Cross, yeah.
Did win National Cross, actually. So stock price high, middle of the year, but dropped now. And I'm thinking Seth O'Donnell gets some fitness. Obviously, he's only been running for a year or something. Like, the guy's a national champion after running for a year. He's raw. He hopefully he's not injury prone. That's what I'm worried about, because we haven't seen a lot from him, and he's real blue collar type, fitting well down the Surf Coast if he ever wanted to come down. But he's I reckon hopefully steps up out of this best in the state kind of thing and becomes real national contender, like 13-20 type guy over the next couple of years.
What about him being on the drums? Does that worry you? I saw a photo of him today on Instagram, and he was on the drums playing a gig, and I'm just like, oh, he could easily be a rock star.
Oh, okay, I haven't seen that. But that just adds to the mystique a little bit.
Yeah, the volatile stock pick.
You got Brady?
Yeah, I'm going Pat Tiernan. I think he'd be a bit of a bargain on the stock market at the moment.
Are you kidding?
What? Who to watch in 2023 for these reasons? Stepped up to the marathon. Okay, wasn't successful in his kind of terms, his quality. So maybe stock price takes a bit of a dip. He's about to roll into World Cross Country in his home country. I think he's going to do something special there in Feb, and then I think he's going to nail it. He could go out and break Brett Robinson's record. Don't be surprised if he does it. And his stock price is going to go through the roof in 2023 if he pulls those 2 things off. He's a safe bet, big time performer, move to a new event, just got to figure out how to do it. Bam.
I don't know about that. I think his stock price is pretty high, to be honest, mate. I reckon we had to agree on stock prices before we started.
No, I think his stock price has taken a hit since the Olympics. I think the Olympics got him back up, but he hasn't really done much since then.
I know where you're coming from, Brady.
Six people agree with me.
I think his stock price has definitely dropped over the last 12 months, but it's like on the higher side.
And he's still quality, isn't he? For people, it depends who's setting stock prices. All right, what are we up to? That was ones to watch. Athlete of the year, and then we got what exciting? Oh, sorry, Croaks. Sorry.
Yeah, mate. Which Moose probably won't like this one either. So like I had Kai Robinson again, like just because I feel like
that's a high stock price after world champs though.
He was named last year.
Yeah, I know, but I feel like
whose stock price will be high, his or Pat's at the moment?
Pat's more well known. I could say
Pat's is higher than Kai's, for sure.
Whereas I feel like Kai, though, if we're talking about him this time next year, like we're putting him in the, third fastest Aussie of all time sort of thing, like breaking 13 minutes for 5K, which would significantly improve his stock price from where it is now.
I love it. I love this whole stock price analogy that we just run with this year. Athlete of the year, that's the big one. We still do have what excites you in 2023, but that will roll into the end of the show because we'll wrap things up there. But this is the big one. Who is the Australian distance runner athlete of the year? Julian Spence. Who are you giving it to? The big trophy. We should send them trophies, even if they don't know our show exists.
Ollie Hoare for me. I think Com Games win, want to make a mile, Australian mile record, indoor mile, sorry. But all those things combined, and I haven't given him points elsewhere tonight, so that's because he was our champion. He was our athlete of the year.
Yeah, you said everything I've got written down in front of me. Ollie nailed it. Diamond Leagues, Millrose, Commonwealth Games, missed at World Champs, but did everything else that was significant that he could have done on the big stage. Croaks?
Yeah. he's my pick as well. So I think everything's been ticked off. He broke both the outdoor mile and indoor mile. So his outdoor mile was the 13th fastest time ever. He also finished third in the Diamond League final, which is a pretty big deal. He's for me a clear standout of athlete of the year.
When you look at his IAAF profile as well, so for example, Sinead's overall women's ranking, I don't know how they do this, I guess it's some points algorithm, is 616. Barrett's, I'll look this up today as well, give me 2 seconds, but keep that 616 in your head. Brett's, maybe it's different because they're doing marathons, and he's just Brett's is 486, his overall distance running ranking, but Ollie Hoare is something real standouty. I've got it coming up right now. My internet's loading for me.
Well, it'd be like
top
third
30 or something.
Fourth or something.
Nah, it's 67, but his men's 1500 metre ranking is 5th. But that's 67, he's smashing other people we're comparing him to. So that's taking into account everything. That's taking men's marathoning, half marathon, 800. I assume that's even sprint, wouldn't it, Croaks?
Yeah, it's everything. It's all events.
So every single, would it be field as well?
Yeah.
He's a 67th best athlete on the planet. So that was good. We've wrapped that up. Congratulations, Ollie. We'll send him something in the mail. Yeah. Doesn't know he exists, but we'll send him something. Let's go away with what excites you for 2023. Surely I was allowed to pick more than one thing for this one. I've got a few documents here.
Go on.
World cross country, obviously, coming to Australia. Who makes the team? How we go as a team? How it is? Who rocks up? Otherwise, in other countries' teams, I think that's going to be interesting. How we kind of handle that as a country. That big meet coming to Australia. Jess Stenson. Hopefully, she enters a flat fast marathon where she can get male pacemakers a long way. How fast can she go?
I know what marathon she's doing.
Do you? She's doing that 10k down your way, isn't she? That 5k as well. 5 or 10k. Geelong. Next week?
Yes, 5k.
Is it flat and fast, which marathon she's doing?
Actually, no, I don't know. That's a lie.
Yeah,
I know a couple of I know some other ladies which marathons they're doing, but I don't know hers.
Do you know Ali's? Because she was one I was going to bring up before when we talk about stock prices. People are sleeping on Ali.
I do know Ali's. I do.
You better not announce it here.
Yeah.
Wait till she does it on Instagram.
It's her thing. It's her thing, yeah.
What excites me is women's marathon running, because listen to these names, boys and girls, whoever's listening to this show. So you got Sinead, you got Ali, you got Lisa, you got Eloise, you got Jess, you potentially got Millie. Haven't seen her race for a long time, but when she runs marathons, she usually gets it right. And you got Izzy.
You got Lisa? Did you say Lisa?
Said Lisa, yeah. So that's 8 people potentially trying to fit into 3 spots. For maybe they don't care too much about world champs next year, but they need to hit a time to go to the Olympics the year after.
It's going to be a big first half of the year, because I reckon all these girls are doing one first half.
Yeah, right. So and hopefully, I think they've looked at Sinead and think you need to hit a fast time, don't you? Because it's 2:26, they can all run that. So
now there's only 2 spots really available.
You can't see 3 people. Wow, I don't know. Be hard to see 3 people going quicker than Sinead, wouldn't it? So Sinead's probably got one locked down.
Well, I don't think anyone goes quicker than Sinead. But that's what I'm saying. There's 2 spots available. Sinead's locked one up. Locked it up.
Yep. I've got Stewie. Can he finally get that Australian 5K record? That's the one he hasn't got. Can he get that one off Craig Mottram? Jack, I think we start seeing him in the lead packs in big 5, 10K. I also want to see him do big international half marathons. And then obviously a lot of people writing in about the Bendigo Bats. Can they go bat to bat in 2023 XCR season? That's my 5 things that excite me in 2023, fellas. What do you got, Moose?
Well, World Cross. I want to see everyone come out here, stick around for a bit. Be cool to see him come a couple of weeks early, get some course records around the place. Heard a little whisper one of the groups might be coming down the Surf Coast to base themselves.
Oh, really? What country?
Very, very quiet whisper. I don't know if you know it. It's too much of a whisper to mention. And then the women's marathoning, of course, first half of the year. like it's going to be on. There's going to be a marathon every couple of weeks, I reckon, where there's someone going large in it. Yeah, I don't think anyone beats Sinead's time, but how many get under 2:26, like you mentioned? That's very exciting. Yeah, that's me, I reckon. That's where I'm excited.
Croaks, where's your excitement?
Yeah, I'll go World Cross as well. I don't know if I mentioned it. We're booked in. We're booked a farm, so we're staying up there. So that one next year, just like we've always chatted about the marathon, but just people like positioning themselves for Olympic selection. So running fast times over all distances and getting points to get on the team. Really excited to see how Stewie and Ollie go, whether they can get over the top of Jakob in the 1500 this year, because like they've been knocking on the door for a couple of years now, and hopefully they both stay healthy and injury free. So there are a couple of the things. Moose making his return to the marathon, head to head with Matt Fox. That's going to be a highlight in the first couple of months.
We are riding that, aren't we, Croaks?
We are.
Next 9 weeks are dedicated to that.
You blokes know I'm rocking up and just going to jog 220, right?
Yeah. That's my worst nightmare. I put in like 16 weeks worth of work coming off PBs over every other distance, and you'll jog it in.
Nah, I'm jogging, but you guys are getting excited for nothing here.
And Brady, I'm looking forward to seeing you nail one as well, mate.
Oh, did I tell you that Chicago thing was filled 6 weeks ago?
Yeah, I saw that message as well. So
thought I was going to that race.
It'll hurt to be the slowest marathoner on the podcast, but I'll be happy to see you nail one.
Let's not talk about me and marathons for a couple more weeks yet, I reckon. That's the show, boys. That's the year. Thank you for joining me most weeks. I know I was away for a few there. Thank you to our listeners. I know there's a lot of running podcasts out there now. When we started, there weren't too many. But now there's a few in the same market, and thank you for tuning into ours. I think we hit something like 6.2 millionth download this year or something like that. It's in, yeah, we've got still rising, still growing. Thanks for sharing it to the people you share it to, and support us on Patreon, to the legends over there that keep the lights on. Never would have thought we'd be wrapping up 2022, still doing this on a Monday night, so we're grateful of your support. What's coming up, boys, between now and next week when we do it all in 2023?
Well, I just want to shout out to Zach and Newman for the year. He is a behind the scenes legend of the podcast. We don't talk about him enough, but he gets stuff done for us. He also comes up with good ideas, and he's a good sounding board for a lot of your shit, Brady.
When I try to come up with ideas and you two don't write back to me, he does.
He keeps you in line, and he laughs at my jokes. So I am a big fan of Zach. He's done great stuff for us. And yeah, looking forward to the year ahead, really.
And Ross Pentland. Ross has been writing our show notes for, it must be 4 or 5 years, pretty much since we started. He listens to the show on a Monday night, emails us Tuesday morning with all the links that we've talked about, all the things we've discussed, any videos, anything like that, to do a summary of our show. So if you ever enjoyed those show notes, that's Ross doing that off his own back each and every week. So a massive thanks to him for another 2022 year. Croaks, what are you doing?
I'm going to head out to group session tomorrow, but I'm going to be collar style on the bike, and then I'll start jogging a couple of days after that, I reckon.
Beautiful. Moose, you tell him what you're doing, or just do a shout out to Zaka?
He's racing.
Oh, yeah.
Racing tomorrow.
I don't know who he's racing. So then were you doing the 5 or the 10K at that Geelong one?
10K.
10K. What's the field looking like?
Oh, I should mention,
Deep?
I should talk about this.
Yeah, I tried to link it in before when you were talking about Jess coming. Because if Jess is there, Ali's there, Moose is there, entry's still open? The bad boy?
So apparently there's some people going for Zatopek times now for next year.
29.45.
Yeah, it's going to be it's a bit faster than what I was hoping for. I would have liked to be in the front pack, but not anymore. There's at least 60 people entered as of a few days ago. So we're getting some good numbers come through. And the more numbers, the more races. So you get your entry, and you don't even have to be an AV member. You can just sign up and run it. You can do invitation. So it's pretty cool like that. 5K, 10K, and 10K. There's we don't know if there'll be a ladies only race yet, just because we're getting some fast ladies come in, but we're not sure how deep it will be. So yeah, we'll just see how we go there. It's going to be really good.
Prize money moves or paces?
No prize money, no paces. So this is just old. What do you want? Prize money? What for?
No, I was just asking. It pump the event up or something. So they're going to chase that time with no pacer.
What?
Surely.
They'll probably bring their own, and it'll be racing. You know, we always get it. We always get the time when we race. That's
Mate,
how
I
it
was
is.
there, done it heaps of times with you down at that Steigen before it was Steigen
Yeah,
10K.
and that's
some good
like-
battles.
That's how we do it, right? If you're battling out for the win, chances are you're going to have to run fast.
Yeah, well, those guys, they're there for a reason anyway, so they're just taking in turns or something.
Yeah, no one cares about winning that race except, especially if they're there for the time. So I know there's people coming from South Australia. Nita's got a crew. Obviously, Jess's crew. I know there's some people coming from Sydney coming down for it. Melbourne. So, yeah, it's going to be well attended.
Oh, that'd be good. January 8th, isn't it? 7th.
7th.
8th. 7th.
7th, yep.
Put that link in the show notes too if we can. Ross, thanks for that. See you, boys. Do it all again next week.
Chat
See you
then.
later.
Bye.
Doesn't matter if it don't come back. Undercover of my skin, I've heard all your names. If it's all the same, I'll keep on walking. Undercover of my skin, I've heard all your names. If it's all the same, I'll keep on walking. I keep holding on to the hope that all the suffering was for something. Something for something. Something for something. When it's said and done, all your words and all your hate don't mean nothing. Don't mean nothing. Don't mean nothing. Undercover